I'm excited to be on to share with you. I do like to make things, natural care products. One of my favorite things is not a natural care product, but it is because I have to care for the garden. And I'm sure all of you, with all the talk yesterday of organic gardening and spring is here, you know what? Today, my husband said, come quickly, I want to show you something. And he took me to the window and he says, look out there, spring is here. Guess what I saw? A robin, the first robin of the year. I was so excited because we live in the North Country. Anyway, so they usually come back in March, but it's always exciting. So it makes you think of gardening. So I have this special weed killer recipe that takes this special ingredient. So these recipes will be up
in the chat.
So please go there to get a copy of these recipes. So I'm going to tell you for my weed killer what you need. You need one of those 2-gallon sprayers, you know, the little hand pump that you take around and spray and you hold. Anyway, I do this and it really does kill the plants. You need 1 gallon of vinegar, 1 10-ounce container of salt, 3 tablespoons of Blue Dawn dish soap, and 5 tablespoons of liquid arthritis rub. Now, what I want to tell you is Dollar Tree has this, but it doesn't have the secret ingredient, which is capsium. I don't know if you can see that little yellow spot down there. It's a little sunshine that says capsium. So this is Dr. Fred Summit's Arthritis and Sports Medicine rub, arthritis rub, penetrating heat rub, excuse me. So please, you can order this online. Make sure you get this with the capsium in it, and you will not have weeds. It doesn't kill them from the roots, but it does kill them. And they stay gone for several weeks and you have to respray. But it's a real blessing. Okay, I'd like to move on to making your own foam hand soap. Maybe many of you know how to do this. Maybe not. I learned it and I love it. And now I just keep doing it. So what you need is one of these pump bottles. What you can do is you can reuse one, like if you have some from the store, just save it and reuse it until it breaks, and then you can buy these. Anyway, you need distilled water, and you need Dr. Bonner's Castile soap, liquid soap, and you need we forgot the almond oil. So we need almond oil and an essential oil for smell if you want a fragrance for it. I happen to really like lemongrass, so I kind of just keep that on hand. It doesn't have to be the highest end essential oil, but I would get something that is good. And there's many essential oils out there now, so I don't recommend anything specifically. Anyway, you only need those 3 ingredients and it makes really nice soap. And if we have time, I'll go ahead and make it up, but I'm not going to at this time. Here's the almond oil. You can get this at most any store, even grocery stores. So it's very easy to find, even Dr. Bonner's Castile soap. And they have different fragrances of it. So if you prefer that, put that in. You just make it whatever you like. Okay, so let's just go ahead and make this up real quick because it is quick and easy. Gwen thinks we should do this. The first thing you do is put your water in. And don't fill it too full like I've done and then it spills out, because you don't leave room for your other ingredients. And it's only 2 tablespoons of the Dr. Bonner's liquid soap. And you just pour that right in. And then you only use 1/4 teaspoon of almond oil. which really helps hydrate the hands, keeps them moist. And I put about 15 drops of lemongrass because I like it to smell good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 15. Okay. And then if you have room and you want to fill it up, you can fill it up, but it needs to be shaken. That's it. Your soap is ready. See that? That was easy. It takes you less than 5 minutes.
That's right.
And you have soap.
So it stretches after.
And it really works well. The other day, my husband came in and he says, I think we're out of soap in the bathroom. And you can say, that's okay, I'll get some today and make it. Okay, so next we're going to do homemade powder laundry detergent. You'll need a cutting board. Isn't that a beautiful cutting board? My favorite color. Sorry, I didn't mute my phone. Okay, so here's what you need. Let me just pull the screen down just a little bit. There you go. I want you to be sure and be able to see this. So it's okay if my head's cut off, but I want you to view this. So all of you may know what Fells Naphtha soap is. It's kind of a natural soap, and it's been around for years. It's called a laundry bar and stain remover. It's inexpensive. It's like 97 cents a bar, depending on where you buy it. Walmart has it fairly cheap. You just have to look around. So what I do, and all you need is washing soda and borax. Those are all common things. I get mine at Ace Hardware. You can get them at other stores. Look around, you can maybe get them on sale. So what we do, the first thing we do with the homemade laundry detergent is we have to take our Fells Naphtha soap. I know, because I wanted to watch me. Okay, I'll scoot down. Anyway, so the bar looks like this. It does have a fragrance. I don't like fragrances anymore. I used to love to have my laundry smell so good with different fragrances. But I've become accustomed to not, because I learned that smells are chemical. And if I like one detergent in particular, when I smell it, it makes my nose itch and sneeze. So I'm pretty careful. And even this Fells Naphtha, when I take it, after I blend it, I take it to get it in the fine powder. I have to wait till it settles. Otherwise, it makes me sneeze and irritates my nose. So what I'm doing is just, as you can see, I'm just chopping this up, not anything in no certain order, just trying to get it in chunks so I can put it in my blender. And my Vitamix works really well. It doesn't hurt your blender, doesn't hurt your Vitamix. It's just soap, and soap will clean up. In fact, your Vitamix will be really clean, your container. I'm going to take and put it in here. You know, powdered soap is fine, so that's why we're going to blend it. So for one recipe, when I do a whole recipe, I have a small little square buckets I've gotten. My husband works at a hardware store, so he can bring home stuff that, nails came in. So I have these buckets. And so they're just perfect for my laundry detergent. To make a whole batch out of these boxes, I use 9 bars of Fells Naphtha soap and a box of washing soda and a box of borax. And so I'm just going to show you for one. So here we have this in here in our Vitamix. We're going to put this on and I'm going to show you how well this works. Okay. See that? It's all mixed up in there. Small chunks. And so what you want is to get it as fine as possible. You want to open, can you open this other box for me? And so we're going to put 1 cup of each in this here, in the blender cup. 1 cup of soda and 1 cup of borax. Thank you. So, guess I'll use the half a cup. And I put that in together. And I want to put it back on here. Do you have a spatula? Please. Thank you. And so the key is to get it blended up very fine. I mean, it'll work if it's not. You could do this. Once it's blended, you can just stick it in a bowl or a bucket, or you can put it in a jar and shake it. But I like mine a little finer. You won't ever have, the finer it is, you won't have Bell's naphtha left unwashed, especially if you use probably cold water. I always use warm. And so you just keep blending it till it's all nice and mixed up. And as you can see, it makes a fine, fine powder. And that's your laundry soap. And all you need per load is 1 tablespoon. That's it, per load. Now you're gonna look at that, you're gonna say, oh really, that doesn't look like enough. And you're gonna think, it's not even sudsy. And you're right, it's not. But it gets your clothes clean. Suds doesn't clean your clothes. Suds don't clean your clothes, sorry. But so we've used it for probably 4 years now, and I'm so thankful. I make 1 bucket a year, seriously. I guarantee you, you'll never go back to the regular soap. It takes you maybe 15, well, let's say it takes you a half an hour once a year to make a whole container, 1 box, and 9 Bell's naphtha. That's it. And here's the finished product. Here's mine that I'm using every day or when I wash. But this is what it looks like. It's very good soap. Anyway, and I highly recommend it. And you don't get any of those dyes and colors, you know, everything they put in. This is just natural ingredients. So,
Extra dirty clothes. Extra dirty clothes.
Extra dirty clothes. You can put a little more in, you know, I'm kind of like a tablespoon. So I have a tablespoon and a half level in mine. And I used to always use a tablespoon and a half. And if my husband's clothes were really dirty, I do throw a little extra in. But you know what? Even with 1 tablespoon, they all come out clean. So anyway, I'm very thankful for starting this. I've been very pleased with the outcome. And I think you will too. Okay. The next thing I'd like to show you. And I'm just going to kind of step you through this. Oh, but I didn't bring mine. Okay. So, let me get mine. I need the measurement. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make natural deodorant. No, we lost the spoons. Okay, I have. Oops, that one has one more. Excuse me. Okay, so natural deodorant. Everybody uses deodorant, for most everybody does. And some people don't. I happen to be one that really does like to use deodorant. And so, but I knew that I don't want the aluminum for one thing. And when you use the ones without, can you tip the screen back just a little bit? There we go. I always smelled. And they, said, oh, you won't smell with our deodorant. But it didn't work for me. And so I was kind of self-conscious about it. And so I thought, well, why don't I make my own? So that's what I did.
Be right on the stove.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to put 2.5 tablespoons of unrefined coconut oil. And that's what this is. It's a Costco brand. You can buy it anywhere. Let's see. Good. And so we're going to take and we're going to put this pint mason jar in our pan. Can you pull the screen up this way? This way? Yeah, just turn it. And so it's 2.5 tablespoons. And I love this deodorant. I have not ever had a day that when I've used some of the store products, I've never had a day that I've smelled. Now, I'm older, so that may mean something, and if you're younger, but I have read, I don't have half a teaspoon, so I'm gonna just kind of guess it. Okay, that was the coconut oil. I don't know how many of you are familiar with shea butter, but this is shea butter. It's white, or it can be kind of a cream. It's shea butter comes from Africa, and it comes from the seed of the fruit of the shea or kayar tree, karite tree. And it has some mild UV protection, which for this it's not necessary, but it provides the skin with essential fatty acids and nutrients necessary for collagen production. It moisturizes, reduces inflammation, and smooths skin. And I really like shea butter. I use it for making my own lip balm. I use it in body butter. I use it for deodorant. So there's and other natural care products. It's used a lot in a lot of different products. And I even take shea butter and spread it, use it for like lotion. Now, it's thick, and you'll say, I can't spread that on. But it will go on. You just have to, once it's in your hands, it gets warm. It doesn't really have a smell. I bought 20 pounds of it, not realizing how much 20 pounds was. And I've had it for quite a while. Anyway, it's nice. You can read up on it on the internet. Look it up. Okay. I've got that in there, and melting in the jar. And as soon as it's melted, we're gonna mix in the rest of our ingredients. And you can use different essential oil or therapeutic oils or aromatic oils with this, whatever you would like, whatever would be something you like. I use grapefruit, and grapefruit oil has a lot of benefits. Grapefruit oil is antibacterial and antimicrobial. I use lavender. It relaxes. It reduces inflammation, cleanses skin surfaces. And you can use tea tree oil if you like. If you haven't, it's optional. But it is also, it combats odor. That's why you would put tea tree oil in. And it has antimicrobial properties. How's that doing? No, it's not going to do it. Okay, so let's come back to this. Let's leave this right here, and as soon as it melts, we'll finish our deodorant. In the meantime, let's go with the pain salve. This pain salve, I have a friend that's from the Caribbean, and I saw her just a few weeks ago, and she makes her, she used to, when she lived on St. Martin, she used to have a natural remedies products that she sold. And so she calls this arthritis rub. But I actually found the exact recipe in Natural Remedies Handbook 1 of Repo Hill. So I was thankful that I saw it again, but my friend had the exact same measurements and everything. So I have Rico's book out here, and I'll put that right there. Do you mind seeing that? Oh. Good. Okay, so looks like the recipes are coming up on the screen. Okay, so for the arthritis rub, you'll need natural unpetroleum jelly. It's non-petroleum. And I looked online, I bought this online. You can probably find it in maybe some health food stores or something. I just chose to go online to get it. And it looks and kind of feels like petroleum jelly. Anyway, just a couple of things with this that I wanted to tell you about having made this is that you need 90 heat units of cayenne pepper. And there's a difference in cayenne pepper. And I didn't realize it until I bought my second batch of it. And there's some coarser cayenne peppers than others. So I had some from a previous time that I had gotten it, and that was much finer. But I didn't realize with this that I have this coarse one. So look for the finest cayenne pepper you can get, because you don't want coarse, because it won't rub in as nicely. It'll leave a little grit when you go to rub it into your skin. But anyway, so what you need is 8 ounces of the non-petroleum jelly. You need 7 tablespoons of cayenne pepper. These are both cayenne pepper, but one's grainier than the other. You need a tablespoon of peppermint, or 3 tablespoons of ginger powder. You need 1 tablespoon of peppermint oil and 1 tablespoon of wintergreen oil and 1 tablespoon of turmeric. I forgot turmeric. Do you have turmeric? I see. I forgot one recipe, one ingredient, and I think probably you all know, but it's a dark yellow. You can buy it at health food stores. You can buy it in the grocery store. It's pretty prevalent, or online. But it's yellow. It makes things yellow, so it does have a color. And so you put those all together, mix them in a glass bowl until smooth, very smooth, it says. So I have made this, and I'm going to show you. You can see it turns out thick, and it's kind of a brownish with a lot of yellow in it. And it does work. It does. What happens is when you put it on, I have a thumb that I think has arthritis in it. I'm not sure. It's got something. But anyway, inflammation. So I put it on there, and it does help. It really does. My friend said she would sell lots of this pain salve because people would put it like on their arthritic knees or something, and she says they'd be up walking after using it a few times. So I know that there's testimonies of this, and I've only used it on my thumb because I don't have pain anywhere else to use it. So I just started using it, but Nico Hill recommends it in his book too. Pain salve. So it's just called pain salve. Here it is. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of bright. But anyway, it's on page 16 of book number 1. Anyways, so then I put it in these little containers like this. You can get these, dollar store, or whatever kind of container you would like, and share it with people. Anybody that might have pain. Okay, so let's go back to our deodorant. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to add our soda, and it takes 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda. We're going to put that. Yeah, let's put it here. One. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda. Let's set this over here. And then it takes 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. And arrowroot powder is really nice. I like arrowroot powder in personal care products because it makes things smooth. If anybody makes body butter and does not know about arrowroot powder in your body butter, add it. Look it up. It makes, the body butter feels so good with the arrowroot. When you've got, when it's just, I've made it without and I've made it with, and I really like with. So I'm going to use 1/4 cup in this. And then we're going to stir it up. I don't know. We need to add our essential oil. So we're going to add 6 drops of lavender and 6 drops of grapefruit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7 got stuck in there. Dropped in there, I should say. And here's the grapefruit. 2. Oh, I think you got an extra drop of both. And so all you do is you stir it up good. And see, it's already starting to, it's getting opaque. And of course, as this cools, it will solidify. And then have your small jar that you're going to pour it in. Here's your, this will last you a year, 6 months to a year. All you need is a pea size on your hand. So when you use this deodorant, make sure that you have some moisture under your arm, whether it's you don't dry off totally or you add a little more when you're putting it on. And I just put my finger in the jar and take about a pea size or somewhat like that, and I just apply it. And it smells good, it goes on well, and I have not had a problem of any odor whatsoever. So my next plan is to get my husband using it also. And I use it, and Gwen uses it. Anyway, so those are my demonstrations of things that are simple to do. It doesn't take long. And you will be glad that you're using natural products, that you're not using the chemically laden products from the store. And I like that feeling. So with that, you know, it's easy to make changes like with products that we use. It's easy to make those changes in our lives, but there is more than making outward changes that are needed to be true medical missionaries. As medical missionaries, we should be practicing every command of God and every principle that we find in God's holy word. In order to do this, we must be studying our Bibles daily. Do you love his word? If so, then you're already studying your Bible. If not, then you must begin today by asking our Heavenly Father to give you the desire to love his word. There was a time in my life that I said, I don't think I love God's word. I think that's my problem. And I read something and it said, ask for the desire. And you know, I started asking that very day. And since then, my life has not been the same. We must be spending time in prayer, communing with our Father. Do you love to talk with him? If so, then you're walking and talking with him every day. If not, then we must begin today. You have to start today by asking our Father to give you the desire to love, to talk to him and walk with him. You know, Psalms 37:4 says, delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thy heart. Notice the qualifier of that scripture. It must be the desire of our heart. We must yearn for that. And you know, we can't fool God. He knows our heart. So do not put off today, because we don't have tomorrow promised to us. If we've been too busy and neglectful if we have been too busy and neglectful of this work, then today is the first day of the rest of your life to begin studying, praying like you've never done before. This is really our first work. The word gives us the command in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Matthew 22:37 says, Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Mark 12:30 says, And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. And Luke 10:27 says, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind. Did you catch what was added in Mark and Luke? I never noticed this before. Never noticed it. Somehow I read and skipped over it. You know how you read the Bible and you read it, and something new every day comes out. Have you ever wondered what the word strength really means? One of the definitions in Webster's 1828 dictionary is vigor or natural force. The Greek word for strength is ischus, meaning forcefulness, ability, might, power. All of these words seem to be action words. What is the synonym of strength? Let's look at something a little different from a little different angle. It's health. That's the synonym of strength. As medical missionaries, our mind should immediately go to our health message. And what comprises our health message? I'm going to read a few quotes from the Spirit of Prophecy, which makes this clear. Health reform is one branch of the great work, which is to fit a people for the coming of the Lord. It is as closely connected with the third angel's message as the hand is with the body. Let's look at that. It's fitting a people for the coming of Jesus. And I hope each one of us really understand and believe that Jesus is coming very soon. It's also closely connected with the third angel's message. That's the message we're to be giving today. That's our message for this time. Men and women cannot violate natural law by indulging depraved appetite and lustful passions, and not violate the law of God. Therefore, he has permitted the light of health reform to shine upon us, that we might see our sin in violating the laws which he has established in our being. All our enjoyment or suffering may be traced to obedience or transgression of natural law. And that's from 3T 161. When we indulge our appetite and passions, we violate the law of God. Enjoyment or suffering is traced to our obedience or our transgression of that natural law. The health reform is as closely related to the third angel's message as the arm to the body, but the arm cannot take the place of the body. The proclamation of the third angel's message, the commandments of God, and the testimony of Jesus is the burden of our work. The message is to be proclaimed with a loud cry and is to go to the whole world. The presentation of health principles must be unified with this message, but must not in any case be independent of it or in any way take the place of it. Health reform is related to the third angel's message. That places responsibility on you and me to be as medical missionaries. We should be proclaiming the third angel's message, the commandments of God, and the testimony of Jesus. Health principles must be united with these messages. God's given us a high calling. We can see that the health message is of vital importance in our medical missionary work. So let's go back to strength for a moment. Is there strength in a sickly person? When you fall sick, do you wish to minister to others? Maybe you're not sick, but you're tired from overwork, busyness, a busy schedule. We know it's hard to juggle work, family, recreation, whatever you've got going. But when you're that busy, do you want to help others? Do you have time to help others? This is, to me, or I didn't think I had time at one point in my life either. I was busy. Life was good. I had a good job. I was really busy traveling. I was just busy. Well, I realized that I was running on the rat wheel in the cage. You know how the rats run, the gerbil, not the gerbil, but the hamsters run on their cage, in their cage on their wheel. That's where I was. I was run. And I believe that this is one of Satan's greatest deceptions and weapons, is our busyness. If life is that busy, we need to get off the wheel and out of the rat cage. God's word says, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. This is God's ideal for each one of us, physical health as well as spiritual health. God has endowed us with a certain amount of vital force. If we carefully preserve the life force and keep the delicate mechanism of the body in order, the result is health. As medical missionaries, we should be the most careful people to protect ourselves by living by God's laws of health and strength. It's our responsibility to God and to our fellow man. Because if we're sickly, we're not following health principles, we can't teach anybody else health principles. So what is God's second command in Matthew, Mark, and Luke? The first is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. And two of them say, and with all thy strength. And the second half of every single one is that thou shalt. The result of that is to love thy neighbor as thyself. So can we say we could love our neighbor if we don't love ourselves enough? If we don't take care of ourselves, how can we love our neighbor? God is teaching you and I to practice the health message in order to accomplish this command. Men without strength and health, without strength or health, how effective will we be to love our neighbors as ourselves? It is a part of one's religious duty to care for the body temple. Therefore, if we don't love God and ourselves enough to obey the health principles, we won't love our neighbor either. In some, the health message comes as mere physiological and hygienic truths that might be studied by some at their leisure and by others laid aside as of little consequence. And only each of us knows if we've done that or not. However, when placed on a level with the great truths of the third angel's message by the sanction and authority of God's Spirit, and so declared to be the means whereby a weak people may be made strong to overcome, and our diseased bodies cleansed and fitted for translation, then it comes to us as an essential part of present truth, to be received with the blessing of God or rejected at our own peril. How will you live your life differently from today until eternity? Will you begin today to make the necessary changes in all the health reforms? What are the health reforms, you may ask? Diet reform, dress reform, educational reform, industrial reform, Sabbath reform, temperance reform. Those were ones that jumped out at me. These are just a few. Please, I ask you, please search the scriptures and the spirit of prophecy. We are living in the very last days of Earth's history, and we don't have much time. What the church needs in these last days is an army of workers, we're told. And could we say medical missionaries? And you may ask, well, what would this army look like? Or what would these medical missionaries look like? We're told that they will have educated themselves for usefulness. And what would that mean? We must know the third angel's message. We must know and live by the third angel's message, the three angels' message, the 10 Commandments, and we must have the testimony of Jesus. Health principles ingrained in our lives that we're practicing all the health principles that God has given us life. They will have a deep experience in the things of God. Do you walk by faith or do you walk by sight? How is your experience with him? We must have that experiential experience with God. And we will be filled with earnestness and zeal. And could we add that their body temple?
Hello, Kathy.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much. We have to end so that we can allow them to ask you questions. You did a great presentation, but we're trying to stay more on schedule today.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
So you want me to go ahead and make closing comments?
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to challenge you today that your mind, we're told that your mind was given that you might understand how to work. Your eyes were given that you might be keen to discern your God-given opportunities. Your ears are to listen to the commands of God. Your knees are to bow 3 times a day in heartfelt prayer. Your feet are to run in the way of God's commandments. That's my challenge to you today and to myself. Let's begin today to live up to all the light that we have in health, spiritual, that our mind, body, and soul will be fit to love our neighbors, ourselves, and prepare others for the soon coming of Jesus. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sister Kathy. You did a wonderful job. I appreciate all the quotes that you gave us. It allows us to think that we need to study more and we need to be more mindful of what is happening in these times and how far we are from what the Creator is calling us to do. Okay, so we're going to open up the floor now for questions. I did have one question for you. When you're making the powdered detergent for the laundry, if you prefer not to use the animal product, like the Fells naphtha, is there another bar soap that you can use?
Sure, you can use any natural bar of soap that there is. Yeah, you just look and it can be, what you like and what you choose.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. Okay, let's go with Veronica, and please unmute.
Actually, my question is really for you guys. The recipes, I saw one recipe pop up, and we were able to see it. But while Miss Kathy was speaking, the device that's called natural deodorant recipe, we're not able to see it. It looks just like a profile pic. Unless you pin it, then we the participants will not be able to read what you're trying to show us, because I'm sure you're showing us all the recipes, but we're not seeing them. So someone needs to, I don't know. Yes, if you can pin it.
I'll put that deodorant one back up. Sister, you're probably going to have to send me the other ones, but I'll put the deodorant back up on the screen, and then you'll be able to take a picture of it and go from there. Just look for, I'll focus it on my camera, so you'll take a picture of it.
Okay, let's go to Ruth, please.
I was going to ask the same thing. Wonderful presentation, by the way. I just wanted the same thing for you to pin that recipe, the deodorant recipe. Excellent. Thank you.
Great.
Flavia?
Hello, thank you so much for sharing the recipes and also the recommendation at the end. That was very needed. Thank you. My question is about the deodorant. When it comes to guys, there are some guys that are heavy sweaters because I have four brothers. So I wanted to ask, like how, like you said, do put a little on your finger, right? What about for guys? Like, what do they do?
I would say they can start and use it. Let them work with it. They may have to put more, you know. I would say that they just need to wear it and see how it works for them. And if they need to reapply during the day, you could do that. I would hope that you wouldn't have to. Like I said, for me, it works 24 hours or the next day. But I would just have them kind of practice with it until they reach that where they stay, you know, without odor. Thank you for your question.
Okay, V35.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes.
Okay, so my question is pretty much the same as the other lady, but I came on late and I missed the ingredients for the detergent, but also would like to have the information for the deodorant also.
Okay, I think they're going to post that in the in the chat.
Yeah.
They're going to post it.
I'm-
Is that correct?
I'm going to share my screen on the deodorant and the arthritis one. The others I did not get, so you might have to send those to me. Or if
Okay.
Sister Shorter has it, she can send those to me. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll send it on.
And also my chat is disabled.
It's not going to be on your chat. It's going to be, I'm going to show a screenshot of it and you'll be able to see it on the screenshot.
Oh, okay.
So stand by. I'm still preparing it over here.
Christian, go ahead and unmute.
Hello, good evening. I was wondering, how do I get a hold of Rico Hill's natural remedy booklets, book 1 and 2?
If you'll go to the website, homewardpublishingministries.com, and it's on there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Anna Minerva, go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening. I just had a question about the laundry soap. I'm wondering how that works in washing machines that are high efficiency.
Perfect. We bought one just a couple of years ago, and there's no sudsing. It doesn't suds up, so there's no problem whatsoever. So I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, Taya.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Really enjoyed it. I just had a question about the pain salve. How long does that last in terms of, you know, the effects of the, I guess the spices and everything?
And that probably depends on each person, excuse me. You know, each person, everybody has different pain levels. And so what may not start bothering me for 24 hours may start bothering somebody in an hour or two. And it just depends on what our pain threshold is. So you would just probably want to try it and see. And, each person's going to be a little different.
Oh, okay. I was just in terms of, I mean, like expiry dates or,
Expiration.
yeah.
Well, how long does petroleum jelly last? So this non-petroleum and all of it, I don't think it would need to have, maybe I would say after 3 to 6 months, maybe make some new.
I've had mine for 6 months, it's fine.
Gwen says she's had hers for 6 months and it's still fine. So I would just say that, if you have any doubts, just make some more. Indefinitely. I hope that
Okay.
helped.
Let's go to Galaxy, please.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. I have a question about the weed killer. You went through that pretty fast. Before you mentioned the gallon of vinegar, did you say, mention any other ingredients? Or could you just go through that again?
Well,
I got the arthritis rub and capsium and Dawn dish soap, but I think you mentioned some other things.
Okay, yes, well, it was a gallon of vinegar, it was dish soap, and it was salt, table salt, like Morton's or just, those little round containers of salt. It takes a whole one of those.
1 pound.
Yeah, it's 10 ounces is whatever it is. And it just takes that, and then you need this 2-gallon sprayer. It makes a gallon, and you have to shake it so you get that salt mixed in really well with all the ingredients. But you need this arthritis and sports rub with the capsium in it. And there again, that's Dr. Fred Summit Arthritis and Sports Penetrating Heat Rub. And that's with the capsium. So that's the secret ingredient, they call it. And it does work well.
Okay. Leticia, please unmute.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, guys. It was an awesome presentation. My question is concerning the deodorant. Is there a substitute you can use for the shea butter?
You could probably use maybe mango butter or cocoa butter. I haven't tried it that way. I didn't see any that way. But you could try that along with the coconut oil.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, has everyone gotten a screenshot of the deodorant?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to the arthritis and next.
Okay, let's go
Back
ahead,
to you.
Andrea, and unmute.
Hi, thanks for an awesome presentation. For the vinegar for the weed killer, do you recommend that commercial strength vinegar or just the regular vinegar that you use in your kitchen?
I go by just the regular vinegar, but commercial strength, if it's stronger, sure. And maybe
Yeah, because I've heard of that commercial strength as a weed killer. So I was just curious if you were referring to that one when you make your recipe.
And I've just gone to the store and bought what's the least expensive. And whether it's white or has the color to it, it doesn't matter. They both work. And really,
And does your deodorant work with wetness as well?
Wetness, yes. You want the arm area, under the arm area, moist. You want it a little bit wet because it'll smooth easier. And it goes on really nice just when it's damp there. I mean, it can be a little more than damp, but it goes on very smooth and it feels good.
Okay, let's go to Patty's iPad, and she will be the last one, and then we will start with Sister Shorter's presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I was looking at that soap with the laundry soap and I'd never heard of it. And it said that it can be used also for treatment of poison ivy. And I was wondering if you had ever used it for that.
No, I have not.
Okay. Because we're putting together a natural remedies first aid kit and I was going to have some jewel weed soap made, but I thought if that was a good choice, we just use that.
Yeah, I don't have any information on that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's very good anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Kathy.
Thank you.
Okay.